Okay, good evening and welcome. To entire Power BI community, friends out there. As you saw yesterday, we got February update for Power BI. Lots of features announced, and today, as we said and announced on a lot of places, we are kicking off new series, Data Jazzers live from Redmond. So, as you see now on screen, just Data Jazzers live from Redmond will come in a second. And what was intention is basically to host someone from Microsoft product and engineering team each and every month to chat more about latest Power BI features with particular focus on one specific feature from that month's update. And usually we know a lot of well-known people from Power BI team, but this series focus will go on people who are usually behind the scenes doing some amazing work, and that you can meet them and discuss with them also a lot of things. So today with us, live from Redmond.
Hey,
Hello,
live from Redmond, this is Jeroen or Jay, and I have with me today,
Helene.
welcome.
Welcome both. So hi, Jay. I think everybody knows you in a community.
I guess so.
And Helene, welcome to our podcast. And can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yes, so my full name is Helene Kaur, and I'm originally from New Delhi, India. Did my engineering back from New Delhi, and I have around 8 years of experience working as a tech consultant. Uh, and I was actually working as a vendor for Microsoft before that. So, yeah, I'm back. I decided to pursue my MBA, and that was the reason I moved to the States. Just wanted to understand the business side of how the work is done, why we are doing it, and also wanted to move to the product side of the actual work where it is done. So, did my MBA from University of Washington. Got a chance to intern with Power BI team.
That's where we met the first time,
Yes.
I think, right? Yes.
Yes. Always wanted to work for Microsoft, so it was a win-win situation for me. And I was like, yes, I love analytics. I love Microsoft. This is the place to be. I accepted my offer, and here I am working as a full-time employee now.
So you joined, when did you join as an FTE? Full-time?
Last year, June.
Yeah.
So I'm about to complete my 1 year with Microsoft.
She doesn't get anything,
Okay.
like she doesn't get a medal
Congratulations! Yeah, cool.
That's nice. And what's
At 5 years, you get your crystal,
Oh,
the first
nice.
one.
and what's
No, I mean,
what's
it
your
feels
role?
like you've been here forever, so it's yeah. I'm glad you're here. Anyway, sorry.
What's your role, Helene, in Power BI team?
So I am a product manager, just like Jay.
Mhm.
We are on the same team, but different focus areas.
Can you a little bit explain more to us your main focus areas? We know that Jay is master for DAX. So what are your focus areas?
Okay, so when I joined, I was more focused around org apps, platform where how allowing people to share different Power BI artifacts with the larger audiences. So that was my focus area. And I actually PM'd the multiple audience feature, which is going to be GA pretty soon. So
What?
Yeah,
Wait, that's the
fingers
first
crossed.
scoop already. Did we hear
Yeah.
that just now?
So and now my focus area is on get data experiences within web and desktop. So
Yeah.
transitioning into that.
Yes.
Cool. So yeah, then maybe we can go straight into the action from this release. And as you mentioned, we choose to focus on the get data feature. I think it's one of the probably most interesting from this update from yesterday. So can you tell us a little bit more about this feature and how it can benefit Power BI users, in your opinion?
Yeah, I cannot share a lot about it because still we are working, and I don't want to share some details because I want you guys to keep waiting for our updates and be excited about it.
So basically, what she's saying is that she's just getting started, right? That's how you should read this. Is she just released something in the February update, but she's just getting started. That's basically what she's just
Yes.
telling us now.
That's
which is
nice
awesome.
to know.
Yes. So with what we have already released is that we are moving away from the old get data experiences, on different clients, and then moving towards something pretty new, pretty exciting. Uh, that's just I want to give right now because it's a very interesting area, and I'm sure uh, at Power BI, like we just want to empower our audiences, our community, to make sure that they are successful in whatever they are doing, and improving the get data experience was one of the way of doing it, because right now what we hear from the community is that there are amazing things that Power BI can do. There are amazing data sources that you can use, but still there is some gap. So we are trying to bridge that gap with our future releases, and just keep looking for this area. There are new exciting things coming up in future.
So
What
did we release yesterday in this area now?
So for this particular thing, we have changed the entry points to the get data on the web.
Okay.
But
Is
now
it
we
coming
are
to
working
desktop
on
also, or
yes.
okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
And we have a first question coming from Data Vibe. It's Pragati. And when can we expect more on Get Data? Is it next month or?
Pretty soon. Pretty soon.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It
Political
immediately
correct.
goes into like areas where we can't talk about. Like, no, I guess Arlene has given the right answer, right? I mean, we don't know as a PM.
Yeah.
I mean, you try to ship things regularly, and you can have beautiful plans. You have awesome plans. You write specifications, and you just lifted a little bit of what you're planning to do in this last release. And then we, as PMs, we can plan to release the next update next month. But it's really up to engineering now. Like, if something happens, then it will not be next month, and then it will be April or May. So it's really hard to say, is it next month? Well, if it's up to the PM, it is always next month.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good that it's on monthly level, so you don't need to wait for a quarter or stuff like that. So yeah.
And is that just out of curiosity? Is that all connected with the initiatives? I don't know. We spoke a month ago with Miguel about redesigning visuals as well. Is this all packed into one big Power BI reimagining?
The idea is that we want to make sure that every feature is baked in together, so that there's one vision of Power BI. So that's where we are moving towards. And yes, it's the features that we are working on right now on Get Data. It is to help others and make sure that vision is completed.
Yeah, absolutely, fully agree. So that doesn't mean that it will only go out together with whatever Miguel is working on, right? It's basically part of a larger puzzle, right? But it's all part of one single strategy to overhaul and improve everything we know about Power BI. Like, as I've been saying on social media for a while now, the best for Power BI is yet to come. We will see in the next year and a half, maybe 2 years, innovations that are arguably the biggest in 6 years. The whole history of the product are coming in the next 2 years. It's going to be crazy. And this is
it's always interesting discussion on social networks out there. What's the official release date of Power BI when it first was Power BI?
Ooh, I don't know by heart. I know it's 6 years ago. I think it was somewhere in July. I wasn't even part of the product team.
What?
So
2015?
I think it was
July
2015.
2015.
Yeah, July 24th. I think, if I'm not.
I remember there was a kind of event that was celebrating 5 years of Power BI. It was July 2020.
Yes.
But I can't remember which exact date. So
I think it was the 24th, if I remember correctly. That's what I have in my mind.
Yeah, could be.
24th of July.
I just remember the year. It was 2015.
Yeah, I know. I only see 10 years of experience with Power BI on CVs out there.
Which is impossible, right? Technically, that's impossible. I mean, of course, if you count experience in the full Microsoft stack as Power BI now, then which is, arguably you could argue for that.
Yep.
Then of course 10 years is reasonable. But if you just look at the product, no, it has been around for 6 years, and I did now.
Yeah. And you mentioned previously that you mentioned that it comes soon and stuff like that. So maybe it's interesting to understand how do you prioritize and decide from all these amazing features, amazing plans, which feature will go in, I don't know, in February, in March, or April? I know it doesn't depend on you, but yeah, some kind of process and workflow that's behind. I think it's interesting for all of us in the community.
So I think as a PM, what we do, we just talk to the community, customers, understand what are their pain points, and what are the solutions, and on how we can solve them. Also prioritize their pain points, and then prioritize the solution corresponding to that. And then it's always a matrix of, okay, what's going to be the impact of that solution with the pain point. Apart from understanding the pain point, what is the main amazing out of the box idea from the community, or maybe what you can do. Maybe the community is not realizing that it's a pain point right now for them, but we know that it might just be the most amazing thing that our customers are waiting for, which they don't even realize right now.
Yep.
So all those things, that goes on the discussion, and then we prioritize those, and then we also prioritize on the solutions on how we can solve that, and then prioritize on the impact, and everything goes together to decide what feature should we be working on. And as a PM, we just want to, as Jay mentioned, we just want to make sure that all these amazing features are coming as soon as possible. Maybe we should, if it was on us, we would have made sure all those amazing features were coming out every month. But then whenever we think that, okay, now we have an engineering resources and we know that we can work on it, and we have some MVP kind of a product that we can roll out to the community, that's when it comes on the update for that monthly log.
So MVP is minimal viable product. It's not Microsoft MVP. This sentence, just making sure that we are
on the same page.
And then I think I want to add on that a little bit. So yes, that's absolutely what happens. On top of that, there's innovations that we want to build just because we can, or we know, and nobody's asking for those, but we want to do them, right? Because something happened, or we just, we have an interesting challenge that we want to improve, and we want to reinvent the wheel here, or reinvent the product. So that's that. But definitely, it's up to the PM in the end to decide what to do in what order, and have the fights, have the discussions with the engineering team, like, okay, I want to release something with the February update. Will this fit in or not? And then, if I take this out, can I then fit it in February, or can I add some more? And that's basically a large part of our job, is to make sure that you have those conversations.
So it's like,
you have fixed numbers.
Sorry?
You have fixed numbers of release items you are doing each and every month, or?
Well, I mean, it really depends. Whatever is ready, right? So basically, literally, for example, for this release, I had to remove big DAX things from the release 2 days before the release went live, because we found a bug at the last moment. Like the DAX content, I literally wrote the blog input, it was 4 pages long in Word. I had to cut everything out and postpone it, except for the little pieces on LinNest and LinNest-X. The rest I had to remove, and that just happens. So it's not like we have 11 releases every calendar year, so that's what we know. But then we'll just push in whatever we can, because when it's ready, it's ready. We're not going to wait on it, right? If it's done, it's bug-free as far as we tested it. Of course, it's not guaranteed to be bug-free ever. But if it's ready it's baked out of the oven, why leave it in the oven? Just ship it.
And that's something that I just love about Power BI, because we don't have fixed cycles of releases. Whenever we think that, okay, this is ready to be consumed by the community, just ship it. So you don't have to wait for a particular date or a month or a quarter to release it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I was always wondering, if you have, let's say, 3 or 4, bombs, some great things to announce, do you put them all together in one update, or do you distribute them just to keep the excitement, or not? That was you explained.
I mean, there's of course events, right? If we have Inspire or Build coming up, those things will align. Then we will pool some things, and we'll say, okay, let's keep them, let's save them. They're ready. We don't want to show them just yet. let's wait until build and then we'll make a big splash, right? That will definitely happen. So we'll have those events during the year, but just forgetting about like big marketing events, whenever something's ready, whenever the PM and engineering team feel like this is ready, it just goes.
And every PM is responsible for their own feature. So if something is already there, the PM would push it to the community, so that, because we also want to hear what community is saying about that feature. We want to gather the feedback early on so that we can continue improving that feature. So why not?
Yes.
And here is a question from Asgeir coming in. So how often you update the public release plan?
So Asgeir, he should be getting back to brewing his beer, I think. Anyway, that's something else. We had a conversation.
I saw your conversation today. Yeah.
How's the beer, Asgeir? Anyway, twice a year we make a big change to the release plan. So twice a year we go through what we call a planning cycle. We plan for 6 months, for a semester. We are literally in the middle of it, right? We literally had a big meeting. How long was it? 4 hours yesterday?
It was from 8 to 12:30.
Yeah, 8 to 12:30. So 4.5 hours where we basically talk about like, these are all the things that we're planning. So every PM and every PM manager basically defends or explains, this is what I'm going to invest in. And then that's also like helpful to get a full picture, but also understand like, wait, you're doing this, that contradicts what I'm doing, or no, you're doing this, oh, I can build on top of that, right? That's where it's really useful. And then once that is kind of solidified, and of course, then we did the math of how many engineering time do we even have? Like, we can have all these plans, but does it even make sense? Does it even fit in? Do we have the people to do this? Then we'll update the release plan. So that happens twice a year. And then during the year, if something slips or if something changes or we have to cut something, we will make updates to the release plan as we go, but hopefully those updates should be minimal. So there's two big changes to the release plan. So right now we're in the middle of planning. I think that is going to be, I don't know, March-ish. I think that we'll update the release plan again for like the next wave, if it not already happened. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it already happened.
And follow-up question coming in is, what if plan change? Do you update release plan? And the beer is fermenting, so...
No, we absolutely update the release plan if plans change. So if something is moved out because something happened, we'll remove it from the release plan or we change the date. Keep in mind, the things that are on the release plan are only the things of which we are pretty certain they will ship at that date. Mm-hmm. About 60%, my estimation, about 60% or even more of what we actually ship during a year is not in the release plan.
Yeah.
We notice it.
We don't have that, yeah. We have no fixed date for them, so they are not on release plan, right? So for example, if Helene is working on an awesome new experience for Get Data that she doesn't know yet if that's going to be there in April or in May or in June, we are still figuring out where it will go. It will not be in the release plan.
Mm-hmm. And that's where our monthly release blogs comes into the picture, that where we share that, because that's a smaller time window and we know that, okay, we are building something and we are releasing it. So that's where, all the other items comes into play.
So whenever you think about like, oh, Power BI is not innovating, well, keep in mind what I just said, like 40% or even more than that, or just 40% or even less than that is in a release plan. The rest is not. I, for example, myself, if I look at the things that I own now for this semester as a PM, and I won't name them, none of those are in the release plan. 0% of my work and what my team does is in a release plan. Why? Because we have no idea when this is going to ship. So I'm an example of a PM for which the release plan is just empty. Nothing of my work in there.
We have a good one. I think this is for you, Jay. The one from Jeff. The one thing I'd like to see in DAX for visualization purposes is the ability to specify text color in a format function. I think he's not alone.
Interesting. Interesting suggestion. Problem here is language, right? Red is not the name for the color across the globe. So would we then allow you to write this in Dutch and in German? How would we translate that? I think what we could do is allow you to do a hex code or an RGB code in here, right? And then allow you to write that. That could be an interesting thing. Yeah. Great suggestion. Thanks, Jeff.
Jeff can also put it in ideas.
Yes, of course. But I know Jeff is not a big fan of ideas, so.
That's why I was laughing. Yeah.
How does Excel do it? Well, the problem is Excel is not a great example here, because Excel, if you change the language in Excel, so the English name for the sum function is sum, S-U-M. The Dutch name for the same function is S-O-M. Which basically means if I get I don't use Dutch software, but if I did, I couldn't send Helene my Excel file, because then Excel has to change and map these functions. They now do that, but they didn't used to do it. We decided in Power BI to not do that. All of the functions are in English, right? Average is going to be average. It's not going to be gemiddelde in Dutch. No, it's just going to be average. Same problem here. If we allow you to write red, we're not going to translate that to rood in Dutch. That doesn't make any sense. So we'll just keep it as English. But it doesn't, I think for the readability, it's not the great idea to have language in there. So we'll just.
And we have one question for Helene coming in. So can we get possibility to pin the favorite data connectors under Get Data section in Power BI Desktop and Service?
This is a good suggestion. Yeah.
Very good suggestion. It's a very good suggestion. I would say.
Okay.
Okay, we'll read between the lines.
Yeah.
It's a great suggestion.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes,
I love this idea. I mean, we have, how many data connectors do we have now?
157. Supported by PQ.
How many?
I think 157.
They can't hear you.
Well,
137? 137?
I think so.
somewhere between 10 and 1,000.
Over 100 connectors that we support.
Yes.
Oh.
So yeah, of course, being able to pin or
favorites
search or sort or just somehow making a sense of that whole list would be a great idea.
No, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, great poker face. I like that one. Okay.
And just basically question for both of you, but primarily to Helene. So, month in life of Power BI PM. How does it look like?
Okay.
Except those 4-hour meetings.
Well, our life starts with meeting in the morning, and then it also ends with meeting, in the evening. And I think Jay can also agree to that. It's meetings with different stakeholders, meetings with engineering team, with the EMs, with the designers, to work on different UI, and then there are also planning meetings where you fight for your resources. That hey, I want a designer, I want her time.
It's true though.
And then meetings with the customers. That's very, very important, because whenever you release, and even when you're not releasing, you just want to hear what they are talking about, what is something that we can do to improve their experience. So it's all about meetings. And then sometime when you get your own time, then you have to work on the spec, or the feature spec. Think about different features that you want to work on for the next releases. So that's typically a day of a PM.
Yeah, there's loads of meetings, and as Helene said, you gather all these intel conversations, and then it's our job to write it down in the specification. So at least after all of those meetings happen, we know, okay, this is the input that we got from the community, from customers, etc. This is the conversation that we had on planning. So this is how much time we have. So this is what we're going to do, right? Basically, that is our job to make sure that we write all of that down. So specification writing is definitely a big part of our job as well.
Because until we do that, the designers are not going to work.
Right.
The engineering is not going to work. So that's the first step of, making sure that the idea is there in one page.
Yes. So out of all of those type of meetings, do you have a favorite? Do you rather meet with customers or designers or architects?
With customers?
Yes.
Hands down.
Oh,
with the
really?
customers.
Okay.
Yes.
Why is that?
That's a good one.
So 2 things. First, if they have any problems, it's good to know what they are, what are their pain points. So it also makes my life easy to work on the next feature then.
Right.
If majority of the customers are saying the same thing again and again, that it means that it's a big problem for the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I have to solve that.
Sure.
And second, if they love your feature, you know that, oh, the hard work that you did last time, it's paying off. So it's always a win-win with the customers.
Well, I mean, you can also be in a situation where the customer will just give you an earful, right? They will just tell you, everything you do, everything your team does sucks, right? That's the other situation that can happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
But
how
then
do you
again,
handle
we're
those
sharing their
things?
problems.
Sorry.
No problem. How do you handle if those are situations when the customer says everything sucks? So how do you handle this?
I mean, it really depends on how they do that. Sometimes I can handle it better than others. I mean, to be honest, sometimes as like an owner of an area, it almost feels like a personal attack, right? We're here, we're all doing our best, the whole team that we represent and that we work with, because it's not just us, right? We don't write any code. It's like engineers that we might eventually get on the show as well, that actually do the real work. It can feel like a personal attack if like somebody says like, oh, the DAX stuff you guys are working on, it's just complete bull, right? It doesn't work. It sucks. I don't understand it. I don't like it. I hate it. Why can't you do blah, right? Like, why is it not much more like Excel? So it can feel like that. So I don't know. It sometimes it's hard to handle those kind of things. More often than not, the things that people are complaining about, we are already aware about, and we already have a plan for. So, it's also very tempting to say, yeah, I know, but this is coming, right? And that's a response you see often. It's like, yeah, I know this is a problem, but we're solving it, which is not really helpful for the customer at that point, right? So I mostly treat these type of conversations more as like, let them get it out of the system, right? Just talk about it and say, yeah, I agree, and then I cannot promise you anything anyway because it's a public call or whatever. I cannot tell you what's coming. So yeah, the only thing I can do is just agree with you if I really agree with you, and if you're wrong, I'll tell you. Like if I absolutely don't agree with you, I'll tell you. If I know the direction that we're going is completely different from where you want to go, I'll tell you, because I much rather would like to have transparency and be clear.
And
if
right
you're asking for this,
yeah,
and we're building this, and that is never going to happen, you should know now, right? Because then you can make a different decision.
And also, sometimes it's also, I think for me, it has always worked that I just explain them our rationale as a team, that, why we decided to go for plan A versus plan B, which they were asking for.
Yes.
And, hearing from other person and, their perspective of why they went for that, I think it also makes a huge difference for them to understand that, hey, okay, it makes sense. I was reacting in a different way earlier because I was just thinking my own problem, but even that works for me.
Yeah.
As we are basically coming close to an end, and if time goes really fast with these topics, I have one of our favorite questions for both of you.
Uh-oh.
What's your number one missing feature in Power BI?
You want to go first?
Well, no, I already answered this question before, so I think I get time to think. Do I also, just checking, for every time that I'm on the show as a co-host, I need to answer the question again?
Oh, yes. You can. Time changes.
Every time you need to list another one.
Okay, so Helene can go first.
Okay. Yeah. I think Power BI is amazing. First of all, let me, get it out over there. I think the disparity between different clients for me is, the biggest missing piece of the puzzle that we are trying to fix now, especially, since I've been transitioning into different get data experiences. So that's what I think I have been missing a lot, that the experience in the desktop is right now very different from the experience in the web. And that's something that I also want to work and bridge that gap so that the experience between all the different clients, and it's not just about web and desktop, we might also move to altogether different clients as well. So making sure that the experiences across clients has parity, that's something, which is right now missing. So that's the number one missing piece for me.
Yep. For me, it's pivot tables. just to say something. Like, no, I'm half joking, but if you think about where we're going, where Power BI actually wants to be the PowerPoint for data eventually, if you really think about that hard, that means that our audience is also going to change. That we're going to consume more of the people that are currently stuck in Excel, right? So we'll have beautiful charts, we have analysis, we have interesting dashboards and reports, great. But what about this, oh, I'm just looking at a set of data and just want to slice and dice it easily. There's no, I mean, yes, we do have a matrix and we do have a table, we do have slices, etc. But a concept like a pivot table, which is like this self-contained unit of analysis in Excel, has been there forever and is very successful, right? We don't have something like that as easy. I mean, yes, you can build it, but no, it's not one thing that you can pull out of the toolbox.
Yeah.
Just, to give you another answer to this question than I ever did before.
Okay, thanks. That's a good answer, I would say.
I think, we are even minute over, and want to thank both of you, Jay, for being our regular Live from Redmond host, and Helene, to meet you and to put on screen the additional people, not just those few that everybody knows in community. Our goal here is to bring more people to the community, more product managers to the community. Thank you all, and this was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Both of you.
Thanks for having us.
And we are already looking forward for the next edition.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, see ya. Cheers.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.